This video we're starting our operations with integers. The first one we're going to do is adding. And what I'd like you to do is just take a minute, look at these problems, pause the video, try these, see what you get for an answer. Take guesses. If you don't know, just guess, that's fine. And then when you're done, start playing this again and I'll show you what the right answers are. So go ahead and pause it. Okay, the correct answers to these, the first one up here, the -5 plus -3, when you add those, you should get -8. So if you got that, great. The second one then, -2 plus -4 is going to give you a -6. 9 plus -2 is going to be a +7. -7 plus +4 is going to be a -3. -3 plus +8 is going to be +5. And 6 plus -8 is going to be -2. So look those over, see how you did. Hopefully you got at least a couple of them right. If not, it's okay. That's why we're doing this lesson, to learn how to do these. So we've got a couple of rules. I gave you the rules sheet in class, and you want to start filling this out. A couple of rules for adding integers. The first one is the one we've always known. It says the sum, or adding, two positive integers is always positive. This you knew back in like second grade. 2 plus 3 is 5. They're both positive, the answer is positive. And to get the answer, you just add them up. Now the negatives are very similar. The sum of two negatives is always going to be negative. So if you look back here, the two negatives, the first two examples I did, both had two negatives and they came out to be negatives. And the reason is, if you look on a number line, okay, if this is 0 and I'm starting at -5 right there, and I'm going to add a -3. Normally when I add, I would go to the right on the number line, but because it's a negative, I'm actually going to go to the left. So if I go further to the left, then I would have to stay in the negatives. If I start in the negatives and I go further left, I'm going to be still in the negatives. That's why when I add two negatives, it's always negative. And to get the answer, you just add them up. I would go left 5 and left another 3. I've gone left a total of 8, so -8. Or I start at 2 to the left, I go 4 more left, I'm going to be 6 to the left. So I'm just adding those up. Now the last rule is a little bit different. When they have different signs, the answer is going to have the sign of the larger number. So what I mean is 9's bigger than 2, 9's positive, the answer's positive. 8's bigger than 3, 8's positive, the answer's positive. 8 is bigger than 6, the 8's negative, the answer's negative, and 7's bigger than 4, negative, negative. Again, the reason for that, if you look at a number line again, and you think about it on here, if positives move me to the right of 0 and negatives move me to the left of 0, whichever way I move further, that's where my answer is going to end up. If I have to move further left than right, I'll end up down here in the negatives. If I have to move further right than left, I'll end up in the positives. Okay? Now to get the answer for these, we actually end up subtracting. If you look back at this, 9 minus 2 is 7. 8 minus 3 is 5. 8 minus 6 is 2. And 7 minus 4 is 3. And again, that's because on the number line, they're going in opposite directions. They're working against each other. So I move negative and then positive. Or I move positive and then negative. And so whichever way I move further gives me the sign. And because they're working against each other, I need to subtract. So whichever way helps you to do these problems, it doesn't matter. if it's easier for you to remember these three rules, then just use the three rules. If it's easier for you to use a number line, then use a number line. Now this one is one you should have already known. They're both positive, so I just add them up and get 39. That's easy enough. Let's go to the next one. Okay? Now I've got two negatives. So I can either think back to my rule, or I can use the number line. If I think of my rule, I know that when I add two negatives, I get a negative, so I can put that down. And then to get my answer, I actually add the numbers up. So 10 plus 6 is going to be 16. So I have a negative 16 for that answer. And if you look at that on the number line, if, say, this was 0 here, and this was, each line was 2, with negative 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, start right there, and go another 6 to the left, 2, 4, 6, that would be negative 16. So either way, using the rule or the number line works. So try this one, see what you get. Okay, we're not done yet, pause it, because I'm going to tell you the answer. If I use my rule, these have different signs. So I want to use the sign of the bigger, which is 11. So my answer will be positive. And then I'm going to subtract these. And 11 minus 7 is 4. So my answer will be positive 4. If I wanted to see that on a number line, I would start by going, if this were 0, I'd go 7 to the left to start. And then I would move 11 to the right. And that would put me up at positive 4. So that's how I get my answer either way. Okay, same thing here. It's going to be the same rule, so go ahead and try this one. Okay, correct answer should be negative 8. It's negative because 12 is bigger. It's 8 because 12 minus 4 is 8. So negative 8. And again, you look at a number line. If I call that 0, I'm going to start 12 to the left of that, and then I'm going to come back towards 0 4 spots. And that's how it would end up in negative 8. Okay, 8 plus negative 3. Same rule again, so go ahead and try and get the answer. The answer should be positive 5. Positive because 8 is bigger than 3. 5 because 8 minus 3 is 5. And again, on a number line, if that's 0, this is 8, that's where I'm starting, and I'm going to go left because it's a negative 3 places, and I end up right there, and that's positive 5. So that's my two ways of doing it, number line or the rules. 5 plus negative 9, I'm just going to use the rule for this one. Go ahead and try your answer. Correct answer should be negative 4. Negative because 9 is bigger. 4 because 9 minus 5 is 4. And that's it. That's how you do it. And again, number line is the other way. If I looked at 0 and I started up at 5 and I went to the left 9 places, I'm going to get back to 0 for 5 places, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is negative 4. So count on a number line or use your rules that you got at the beginning. Those are the two ways to add integers.